what happened when a will actually gets contested? How can you really help to prevent family feuds? Well, my friend, you may write a will. You may think you're being fair. You may set it up wherein you're like, okay, my will be done. I have put the no contest clause in here. So if anybody contests my will, they're going to get nothing. Well, I can tell you that if the person doesn't like your will, if you disinherited them, if they believe that this distribution you made in your will is unfair, your no contest clause may not stop them from contesting, especially if you had disinherited them anyway. They have no incentive not to contest that will. And so what exactly happens when your will gets contested? For one, when it comes to a will, you don't just come up, collect the assets, and then start selling property and dividing property. You actually have to hire an attorney who will file an application with the court. You'll get the court number, the cause number. Then you have to take that original will down to the courthouse and file it with the clerk. A will that you will never get back. So just make sure that you have copies of that will if you really want to have, if you really want to know what it says. Then after the will is received by the clerk and we have done our posting so that people know that this will is being probated, then you go to court, you ask the court to accept it to probate, you get your letters testamentary, and you're on your way. That's a regular course. But what happens when your will gets contested? You still file the application, you still take the will down to the courthouse, but now you're stuck. Someone wants you to prove that this will is valid. Granted, the onus, the requirement to prove that a will is not valid is on the person who is challenging the will. But you, even though the burden is not yours, you are still stuck while this case is going on. So something should be like 6 weeks to 3 months maximum. You're now in court for months and months, and oftentimes years. You have to do the same thing as with a regular litigation case. You still have the discovery, you still have to have the attorney, you still have to have motions, you still have to have evidence. And then you have to go into court to prove that the person that wrote the will had the capacity to write the will, knew what they were doing. This is what they intended to do, and they were not being unduly influenced by the actual beneficiaries in the will or by somebody else who may benefit tangentially, or their children or something may have may be the beneficiary of the new will. So how do you prevent somebody from contesting your will? Well, while there's no ironclad way to make sure that nobody contests your will, one of the great ways is to make sure that your no contest clause in your will is ironclad. For if you're disinheriting someone, you want to be really clear why you're disinheriting them, and that you know what you're doing, and that this is what you intended, and that this is why you're doing it. And third, some people, some attorneys hate videos. However, I have found that when you create a will, if you have a video and you're firm in your video and you're really influential in your video and you're really confident in your video and you look straight in the camera and you tell the person who you're disinheriting why I'm disinheriting you, why you're not in my will, and please don't challenge my will, then think about this video when it's played in front of a judge, or if opposing counsel should file a contest to your will, and then you send this video to opposing counsel, and opposing counsel sees the decedent looking in the camera telling you, I am of sound mind, I'm of full capacity, and I'm indeed disinheriting your client. Think about the force of that. For many of us, we don't have the opportunity to do that because the testator might be frail. Maybe the testator might not be in a good place that may be a good convincing witness in a video like that. But if you have that situation where you're of sound mind, you don't have any dementia diagnosis, no Alzheimer's diagnosis, oftentimes that video will do the trick and is that silver bullet to wipe out any will contest. My name is Megan Trowick, and if you like videos like this and if you wanted to get good ideas of how to make sure that your will isn't contested, because that can cause families to be destroyed, reach out to us. Like this video, subscribe, so that you can get top information as soon as it's released. Thank you.
Hello, thank you for watching our video. And because you made it to the end of that video, we're offering you our new estate planning handbook. This is a wonderful tool and I'm sure you like it. Go ahead, download the link, and let's get learning together.